Hey guys, this is Kirop speaking, and in today's Little Dev Update we are going to cover 3 topics, and that would be the team is united in New Zealand, finally, and topic number 2 would be the demographics, the biodemographics, and the progress we have been making as of late. And then we have topic 3, just a few little stat revamps and smaller changes. Alright, let's get right into it. Topic number 1. The very first really obvious thing should be, well, Kirop, why does your voice sound so shitty? Well, the answer is because I don't have my large membrane condenser microphone right here. It's still in the container and will be there a few more weeks. So in the meantime, I'm stuck with a headset, but we have ordered a few nice things here for the office, and we should get it in about-ish 2 weeks time, and then I should be able to do proper recordings for the little dev updates and other things again. Anyway, so first week in New Zealand is completed, and it has been very efficient, I must say. It is really good working with the guys in the office, and it's so much easier to just walk across a room and ask your question instead of waiting 10 hours until they are awake or something like this. And of course, discussions in the team are so much easier to have, and in general it's a great location. We are just down in Petone, Lower Hutt, and lots of good shopping opportunities around for fast food and the stuff, everything needed for fast development of a game. And of course we have Petone Beach right next to our office as well. Well, it's like 150 meters or something across. Anyway, this has been pretty awesome so far. In the last week we have been making a lot of good progress on the biodemographics. I've been able to do some rebalancing with help of the testers, building a lot of different cars for different markets, and so far it's looking really good. They are starting to take shape, and the different flags, like the specialist categories, are working as well. And now we are taking a look at a horribly overpriced, super practical small city car, and I'm going to show you the new look of the market demographics with this one, which are still not done. We have a few more changes, but here they are. And this is of course horribly overpriced now, but I'm going to show you what happens when we are lowering the price to something a lot more reasonable, and this car is pretty good as is. So as you can see, the demographics categories the focus is shifting. We are no longer displaying the individual values for the non-top 10 categories, and the coloring scheme has been changed slightly towards green and red, because blue could be confusing with cold and hot. So we are going for green and red instead, where green of course means good. And also that changes the brightness of these fields. And the tooltip now tells you what it actually means. For example, let's see, the fun budget category, a small, affordable and reliable everyday use car that is practical and fun to drive. Okay, that makes kind of sense. And then you have the 4 different values shown in here. In the next iteration there will only be 2 values, and that is competitiveness and affordability. Also, competitiveness will not be shown as a percentage value, but competitiveness, what is that? Well, that's basically your car compared to all the competitors in this same demographic. And if you have a very good base desirability, for instance, now we have lowered the price as much as we could. This is the actual production price of it. And as you can see, it scores really well in the city eco and city segment. And here we have the competitiveness score of 90.7%, and that means that compared to your best competitor in this category, the 100%, you got 90.7% of its total desirability. So if we up the price, you can see that this total desirability, the competitiveness, changes. and it's lowered, and that's because the base desirability for this car is multiplied by the affordability, which you see right below here, 76.0. And if we lower this by 1,000, you see it's rising to 80, and if that value is multiplied with the desirability, you get a pretty good score, in this case of 90.7. Also, there is a label called competitors in here, 14 it says. Right now this number stands for the number of competitors which are within the top 25% of competitiveness score. And in this case there are 14 cars that kind of contenders to grab market segments in here. Of course, all cars will grab small segments, but small parts of this demographic. But the main contenders will probably be those within 25% of the top car. All right, as you can see, also it is much cleaner layout now. It's less busy, and we still have the framing for the top three. And then a kind of slightly brighter backing for the top 10. And of course the missing values for all the other categories, which you still can see via just hovering over them and getting the same stats as you would if they were in the top 10. So what's going to change about this one? Well, we are going to reduce it down to two values, just the competitiveness and the affordability, while the tooltip will still retain these four values in a slightly better ordering, like competitiveness, affordability, and then below that desirability and competitors, and probably a few more infos in there for each demographic. That should be very useful. But with only two values on screen here for each category, that reduces the number of values shown on screen to just 20. And that should make your life much easier to actually get the information which we want to convey. Alright, so that's for the new look. One thing I gladly bake into this topic too is that we fixed convertibles, and they are now calculated very differently from normal cars. What you're seeing here is, of course, not a convertible, but a coupe. And this coupe has different variants. Body variants, and I've made a few different cars for it. Also a soft top and a hard top variant, which we are differentiating by looking at comfort and safety stats, as well as prestige scoring and weight, of course, because the hard top certainly has mechanisms built in which weigh quite a lot. Also, if you choose a convertible, that will make the car a lot heavier if it wasn't designed with a carbon fiber tub or a glued aluminium tub, and that you have to keep in mind. It's probably something like 200 kilos heavier if you just choose normal steel construction for it than compared to a coupe. So, what happens here? Let's see. Let's take a look at the market. So this one is scoring pretty well in the light sport budget and the fun categories, just as you would expect, but also the family sport and a bit on the convertible categories, because when they were built, these competitors were built, there were no proper convertibles yet. So naturally, this car is scoring pretty well in these categories. So now let's take a look at what happens when we choose the hardtop variant of this one instead. Graphically, there is just a little difference, but you can see, oh yeah, that's probably a hardtop convertible. Anyway, now let's take a look at the markets for it, and you will see a pretty stark contrast. Also, a very big contrast is, well, this car now weighs like 250 kilos extra, and that is pretty realistic for steel construction. So yeah, you want to think twice about making all your sports cars convertibles, because that will certainly give you a bit of acceleration problems. So, markets. And bam, as you can see, convertibles are actually scoring really well in the convertible categories. Who would have thunk that? So, this shows that nicely. So there are two different variants which you have to look out for. A soft top convertible counts only as 70% of a convertible, because it's not really that nice. but a hardtop scores 100 for the weighting. You can see down in the demographics makeup. Let me see, do I have anything down here? Nope. Can get around like this, yes. Convertible 15% weight. So if you have a convertible and you choose a hardtop, then 15% of your score will be 100, which is really, really good. So that means just more people will buy them. And yep, that's it what I wanted to show you here. Let's move into topic number 3. Topic number 3 is about the little changes, and there are quite a few of these. We have reworked the economy calculations. They were rather optimistic regarding engine efficiency, and I bumped up the engine efficiency, the engine fuel use by 15%, so nerfed them by 15%. And the values we are getting now are looking much more realistic. Yeah, like this one, the sporty hardtop is, let's see what kind of engine it has, but 10 liters for that car, a very sporty, like high revving inline 4, even though it's just 1.3 liters. If it's race cammy, then it certainly will eat a bit of fuel, so yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And oh, it's not direct injection either, and running really rich. Yeah, definitely 10 liter car. Also, I want to give a little shout out there to Kubos, who implemented the first changes by just adding the drivetrain losses into the calculations, which we completely forgot about. So that was the first step in this little revamp of the economy. And then I added it to acceleration calculations as well, and then made the nerf to the engines too. And now the values are looking really good. No more 2-liter cars, really. And I hope that it's all balanced now, but you never know. Anyway, what I also reworked completely is the practicality and the utility stats. And those have been pretty broken and are broken in the current public version of the game. And I think you could reach something like 300 utility if you just went for a crazy leather frame, all-out utility vehicle. And of course that is not very meaningful, as all other stats basically are bound to be between 0 and 100. And also I implemented a lot of new little variables into utility, and what I would like to show you here is, of course, the detailed stats, which do have a lot of space up here, which we think we are going to put to good use by splitting up these stats for you a bit. Like practicality, utility, off-road are definitely candidates, along with, let's say, probably economy and running costs, very important ones too, that will get their own tab, so that it's no longer a black box and you don't know what's actually affecting these stats, but broken up into the different factors. And yeah, that's it for today's little dev update. Hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time.